this next matchup, we're going to have Brandon Shuff breaking the balls. Brandon going up against Gordy Vanderveer. And this is the 2010 Texas Open from Skinny Bob's Billiards in Round Rock, Texas. Had 118 players show up for this event. A lot of great matches, and Brandon hit those balls hard, and there he made the 6 and the 8 ball. And it looks as though he has a pretty good shot on this 1 ball. If you look at the angle of deflection after his cue ball contacts that 1 ball, the cue ball is going to be going over towards where the 2 and the 3 are. So you see where he's aiming on the cue ball. He's aiming low. And see how he pulls the ball into the rail? And he wanted to stop before he went past that 2 ball. He's kind of on the wrong side of it. And he's going up there, and he's looking at the window that's in between the 3 and the 9. And this is a tough cut shot, but Brandon's a very, very good shot maker. And if we can get a better camera angle on this, you'll see that he's got enough room to just get that 2 ball to sneak by there. I don't think he's going to go for the 2-9 combination. I don't think he'd want to let go of the object ball or the cue ball in order to accomplish that. And he's looking at it pretty hard. You can tell he's not comfortable with it, so he's going to go ahead and take his time. He's went ahead and he's got the bridge. And he's going back over to check that window out, and there it is right there. He's got a pretty good hold to get that ball through there. It's just making sure to hit the proper contact point on that 2 ball and to keep that cue ball out of that corner pocket. He doesn't have to do much with his cue ball because the 3 ball is right there. Watch how he hits this. Nice. He hit it very, very hard. He basically had to spin that ball in. And his cue ball went down table and contacted that 4 ball. He's got a pretty long shot on this 3 ball, but he can see it, he can make it. That's the beauty of having young eyes, and you're not going to find too many people that shoot straighter than Brandon Shuff, especially when the pressure's on like this. And when he moves out of the way, you'll see that he's got sort of a backwards cut on this, but he has natural 2-rail position going off that top rail and then that first rail on the right-hand side of the table, the upper portion of the table, and he'll bring his cue ball basically down the center line of the table. Mostly with 9 ball, what you want is you want to have your cue ball in the center of the table. That way you keep an angle. And there he goes. That's a nice shot. And he actually came past. He decided to come underneath, and I believe the 7 was there to stop the cue ball. See when he gets out of the way there. Oh, he's got a beautiful shot on this 4 up in the corner. Just stop the cue ball. That was a beautiful shot on the 3 ball. It actually set him up beautifully to get on this 5, and now all he's got to do is pocket the 7 and protect his cue ball and bring it up table. He wants the cue ball to come right back where his shooting, where the hand on his shooting arm is. See right there where that pocket is? He just went, look where he just pointed his shaft. He wants to come right along that line. And to accomplish that, he's going to go low. He's going to put on some low English and spin the ball out, narrowly miss the side pocket, and go out on a limb and say that Brandon Shuff's going to take a 1-0 lead up against Gordy Vanderveer. And that was nicely done. That was not an easy rack to run out, and Brandon did an excellent job of taking care of that quickly. Getting ready to start rack number 2. Brandon Shuff is leading Gordy Vanderveer 1-0. And Brandon getting ready to break. Look where he places his cue ball. He goes all the way up to that line, up at the second diamond, and he's only about maybe 2 inches off the rail, and he hits these balls as hard as anybody. Bam. That 5-ball went in the corner pocket like a rocket. And it got knocked over a little bit, but he's got a beautiful shot on this 1-ball. The balls are spread pretty well. The only problem I see on the table is up in that top left corner pocket. You have the 4 and the 8-ball. The 8-ball is blocking the 4's way into that pocket, and Brandon's looking at that right now. He's going to try to devise a way to pocket the 1, the 2, and the 3 so that he can get up pretty close to that 4-ball. And it looks like he's going to have to shoot the combination. I don't see him drawing back on the 3 to get up on that 4. He doesn't have to do much right here but stop his cue ball. And the key here to set up on the 4-8 combination is to close off the distance. You basically have to get as close as you can to that first ball in the combination. And he didn't stroke that well at all. And you see him waving his arm. The reason you want to get a little bit closer is you're basically shooting into a target, towards a target. You're shooting a target into a target into a target. And the distance right there, you see that the distance of the shot actually brought the table elements into the equation. And the closer you are to those balls, the closer you are to the first ball in the combination, the better chance you have at accuracy, not only into the first ball, but any connecting ball after that. So that's why it's important to get as close as you can. And it looks like Gordy's going to try to shoot the 4-8, and he sort of overcut that. And Brandon's going to have a go at this. The only thing that Brandon needs to really pay attention to is the 4-ball. Not only do you have to send it into the 8, you got to know where it's going afterwards. And he got a little careless there. I'm not sure if it goes past the 9 into the side pocket. He's not looking at it too hard, so it must go. And he just wants to have his cue ball traveling down towards the 6-ball. I believe he's going to put this in the side pocket and just kind of draw. He actually stopped, leaving himself a longer shot. Basically has just stop shot position. He's just going to stop his cue ball. That was a beautiful shot. And here he doesn't have to do anything after he pockets the 7-ball, and he'll be right on the money ball. And he's shooting very well. He had a little mishap, missing that 4-8 combination. But he's going to be tough to beat here. Brandon Shuff, racking the balls, is ahead of Gordy Vanderveer, 2-0. Right now the score says 1-0. Hopefully they'll change that. And Brandon, see if he goes back to where he's been breaking from. Yeah, he's obviously found a sweet spot, breaking from the side rail. Let's see if he extends his follow-through a little bit more. And there you go. There's the power. He almost scratched. But my goodness, he made 3 balls on the break. And watch the power there. Look at the way he just demolished that rack. Made the 1-ball, a corner ball, and the 2-ball, almost the cue ball, going into the side pocket. Look at that 5-ball. That 5-ball is rolling down towards that bottom corner pocket. If he hit that a little bit harder, if that's possible, he could have made that as well. If you look at this table, however, you do not see a workable shot on that 2-ball. I believe that's 2. I believe that's a 4-ball. I think he's got to start out here having to shoot this 3-ball. And I don't see a good shot. He can't cut it to the pocket down on the bottom left because he'll run in to the 5 ball there. I'm not sure if he wants to do that. It kind of looks like he'd miss the 5 and come back over underneath, going 2 rails. I think that's what he's looking at right now. I think he's got a pretty good safety option. Putting the 3 down on the bottom rail and going in behind the 5 ball. And this is a touch shot if that's what he elects to do. And wow, he went either for the billiard or he actually tried to cut that 3 ball in and stop the cue ball with the 5. And he didn't leave much for Gordy Vanderveer. Now, he's been to the table a couple of times and really hasn't had anything to shoot at. And he's going to try to play safe behind the 7-9, and he came up a little short. He left a little gap in which Brandon can get that cue ball through. The problem that Brandon is facing right here on this type of a shot is he's got a pretty good cut angle. It's rather severe, so there's really no way for him to really control his cue ball here. So he's going to have to probably put a little bit of inside English on this, and he undercut that. But look, once again, Gordy's going to come back to the table really with not much of a shot. It looks as though that 8 ball has crept up underneath the 4 ball, which is going to make this shot a little bit more difficult no matter who's shooting to get on that 4 ball. And Gordy just decided to put the 3 back up to the opposite end of the table. And this is where your skill level, your experience, your knowledge of the game, this is where it's going to be tested. And when you have 2 great players, such as Gordy and Brandon, a safety battle like this can go on for quite a long time. And here it looks like Brandon's just going to snip his cue ball right behind that 7 ball. And that's a good shot right there. And Gordy's going to have a look at this. And a lot of players would try to kick this 1 rail, but it's a bigger ball going 2 rails, coming off of that side rail and under the 8 ball. Let's see how Gordy hits this. Nice. He actually went the 1 rail route. He might almost got that 5 ball. It's kind of hard to see it from the angle that we have right here, but Gordy just not getting the rolls right now. Brandon's got a nice combination. And you can pocket this 3 ball. He's going to have to find a home for that 4. Just like the last game, he had a 4-8 combination in the same pocket, and he wasn't able to make it. And it doesn't look like he's ended up with a shot here either. He's going to have to go underneath that 8 ball to get back out, and I don't know if he got there. He's not looking at it too hard, so he must be, there we go. He can get right through there, no problem. And he's shooting very confidently right now. He won a safety battle, and that's just going to add to his good fortune. And Brandon's going to take a 3-0 lead over Gordy Vanderveer, who's got to do something to get out of the starting gate. So Brandon Shuff jumping out to a 3-0 lead over Gordy Vanderveer is really not missing anything that he's shooting at. I mean, he's had a couple of mishaps in the first couple of games, but these were rather impossibly difficult shots that he didn't make, and the rest of them, he's just putting them right in the heart of the pocket. Let's watch his break again. And that time he had a ball go in the pocket and kind of jam and come back out. So he did make a ball, but that one ball's kind of glued to that 8 ball. He can elect to push here. If I was shooting, I wouldn't try breaking these 2 balls apart. If those balls are going to get broken apart, I'd want Gordy to do it for me. So he can elect to push out here, and then Gordy has the option to either take the shot or pass it back to Brandon. So I'm pretty sure what he's going to do is try to roll to a point where Gordy can see the 1 but not make it. I don't really see him trying to shoot at this. There's sort of a combination that he can make up towards that 5 ball, that pocket up near the 5 ball, but I don't think he's going to go for that. And he decided to separate the balls, and he got away with that. So once again, Gordy comes to the table, and Brandon's not leaving him any daylight. Every time Gordy has come to the table, this is what he's been looking at. He's shooting at rails. And Brandon really is not letting up on him, and I can't say I blame him. And Gordy makes a good hit on the 1. Gordy's one of those players where you don't want to give him room to get back into the match, because he'll definitely take it from you, and he'll sweep that momentum away in a heartbeat. So Brandon's playing a very careful, very methodical match against Gordy. Really can't see the layout. I have to wait for Brandon to move out of the way, but I'm pretty sure he has a way to contact this 1 ball with the cue ball and bring that cue ball around 2 rails. There's a better look at it. What he's looking at, he just wants to see if he could play the 1 off the 9. Sort of like a billiard. He's looking to see if it'll go in either pocket. And that's a risky shot, and I mean, it's a ballsy shot if he wants to go for that, but I really don't see what he has to gain in regards to a run out. He's obviously got a better look at it than we do. He's electing to shoot at this, and I'm not sure if he's going for that shot or not. Oh, he actually went for the 1-9 combination, and like I thought the 1 would go in that pocket on a billiard. But what Brandon did is he was going directly for that 9 to put it in the corner pocket that he's standing in front of right now. And I'm pretty sure he can see that 2 ball in between that gap between the 3 and the 9. Yeah, he's going around there to look at it. What his main concern is position on the 3 ball. I don't think he has enough room to make this 2 and draw off of that side rail to get on top of the 3. He might have to follow this ball coming around 3 rails to the center of the table. And to do that, he's going to have to avoid all those balls that are down there. He goes around, did a pretty good job of it, but this cue ball looks like it died on him. He's about, yeah, see where he's pointing to right there? That's where he wanted to get to. And from this angle, it looks pretty tight. I'm not sure if he can get in there to make the 3. He could obviously hit it. And he's going to take his time on this one. He's down over it. He's looking at it. And he doesn't look comfortable. He's not, yeah. He's not happy with where his cue ball's at right now. And what he's looking at is he's looking at a safety option, but he's going to have to make a decision whether or not he wants to go for making this ball or playing safe. And he went ahead to play safe. And he's coming back over behind that 8 ball. And I think that's pretty good. And once again, Gordy comes to the table shooting at rails. And that's got to be frustrating. He's not come to the table with a makeable shot, and we're already in the 4th rack. So, Gordy just not having, much luck here, because Brandon is just leaving him nothing to shoot at. And you can't really point at anything that Gordy has done wrong in this match, because all he's been doing is trying to contact the lowest numbered ball on the table. So here what he's got to do is he's probably going to go in 2 rails. The 3 is a bigger ball going in 2 rails, probably 3 rails coming in behind or underneath that 7 ball. And here he goes, 1, 2, 3 rails, and he wasn't able to make contact. So good safety by Brandon Shuff. And Gordy turns the table over with ball in hand with a very wide open table. So very good safety played by Brandon to put himself in this position to go up 4-0. Comes back over, pushes the cue ball off the rail, and for most of this rack he's going to be able to operate basically from where he's at right there with the cue ball, right in the center of the table. He'll go ahead and pocket this 4 and leave himself an angle on this 5 ball. And he wants to leave it to where he can come off of that, either that top rail or the side rail, to get over on the 7 ball. And he's got a natural angle. He doesn't have to put any English on his cue ball, just has a natural angle to come over. Watch that side pocket. He came a little close there to scratching. And from this angle here, it looks like he could just draw out to get on this 8 ball. And he followed. That was a smart shot. That way you avoid the side pocket. Came in absolutely perfect. Here he's got a natural angle after he pockets the 8 for his cue ball to go on that side rail. And boom, right there on the 9 ball. So this is getting no better for Gordy Vanderveer. He's finding himself in a big hole against a great player. So Brandon Shuff up 4-0 over Gordy Vanderveer. So as we enter rack number 5, it's been all Brandon Shuff. Gordy Vanderveer really hasn't done anything incorrectly. What he's done is just react to the expert safety play. Brandon's been hiding him behind balls. He's having him kick it 2 to 3 rails. And it's really been effective, which is evident by a 4-0 lead. So what we want to do now is go ahead and just look at the follow-through that Brandon puts on his break. And this is a pretty good angle to look at that. Wham! Look at that. Makes the 1 ball. Kind of lost his cue ball. Cue ball kind of went forward, and there the 8 just went ahead and parked itself right in between the cue ball and the rail. And Brandon can see that 2 ball. That 2 ball's down there at the other end of the table, but he really can't see a lot of the cue ball to be able to control it. He can only see just a little bit of the top of the cue ball, and that's probably not going to be enough to make this ball and get position on the 3 ball. And he's in a tight spot there, and he's going to have to move out of the way. Player on the table behind him needs to take a shot, so he's doing a smart move. And what he's doing now is he's looking at the shot from behind the object ball. And sometimes it's a smart move to not only look at what you have from behind the cue ball, but also to look at it from behind the contact point of the object ball. Look at it from behind the pocket that you're shooting at, to accurately, accurately see what you have and get a different perspective of where the balls are going to be going, and that'll give you a better idea of what you need to do. But he's really jacked up over this ball, and he's going to have to stab down. And yeah, see the cue ball, because he had to stab down, it kind of deflected on him, and he's lucky that he made contact. So for the first time in this match, we've got Gordy shooting at a wide open shot into the corner pocket. And nicely done. He's got a pretty good shot here on this 3-ball. He's kind of stretched out. He's going to have to twist this ball off the rail, and he didn't stroke that well at all. He's kind of left himself a bank shot on this 4-ball. I think he's going to skim this 4 and go behind the 8-ball. And, well, he hit the 8, but he still left Brandon a long kick shot on this 4-ball. And I believe that he's got enough room to get around that 8 to hit this bottom rail, not only to hit this 4, but to try to make it. And he can afford to do that because of the position of the 5. The 5 is right in front of that corner pocket. I don't think he's got enough of a line on this ball to be able to return the safety. But I believe he's going to try to kick at this to make it. And wow, he almost did. And he missed it good. But I think he's left Gordy another opportunity to put that cue ball behind the wall made by the 7, 8, and the 9. And Gordy's going in there to put it right behind the 8 again as he hit the 8. Didn't really lock Brandon up. I'm pretty sure Brandon can hit this shot. But Gordy has kind of stopped Brandon dead in his tracks and is now returning all these 2-rail kicks. And what that does is it slows Brandon down. Whatever momentum Brandon had to develop that 4-0 lead, Gordy has brought it to a screeching halt. And that is caused by the break shot that Brandon made to start this rack out. He didn't really control his cue ball very well. And what Gordy's done is he's taken full advantage of that and has returned the favor. And I believe Brandon could go in 2 rails to hit this ball. He's looking to see exactly how much room he has to get past the 7. It looks like he's going one rail. He's going to jump, and he's going to have to really control this. There he goes. He almost put it in the side pocket. See, shots like that, when you're jumping on the short rail, a lot of players will, launch the cue ball off the table. And it looks like he's left Gordy a shot on this 4 in the side pocket. And the hardest shot he's got, the key shot is going to be from the 5 to the 7. And Gordy's come over to the other side of the table. And I'm not sure if he got exactly where he wanted to. I think center table isn't going to work. I mean, this here is a tough shot to control to stay on the 8. What he's got to do is pocket this 7 and possibly stop his cue ball on this 9 ball. Or he has to slow roll it with a little bit of follow to keep the cue ball up there. What I like doing is, after pocketing the 4, getting a 3-rail position shot from the 5 to the 7. That might have worked out a little bit better, but this might work too. He basically has to stop his cue ball with the 9. He just missed it. The speed of that shot has kept him on this 8 ball, but this is a pretty tough shot to have to control. Anytime you have to spin a ball in off of that top rail, you've got to watch for the bottom corner pocket here. He's going to have to come back up and down. See, that's what I'm talking about. Right there. And Gordy just missed an opportunity to get back into this match, and with that scratch went every opportunity to stop that momentum. He just gift wrapped it and handed it right back to Brandon. And when you get an opportunity such as Gordy had in that rack, it's very important to keep control of your cue ball, to accurately read the rack and know exactly where you have to get your cue ball, not only for the next shot, but to complete the run out. And if you go back and look at that, if he would have gotten a little bit straighter on that 5 ball and came around 2 or 3 rails to get on that 7 ball, it probably would have turned out differently for Gordy in that game. And so far, it's been the Brandon Shuff show. He's up 5-0. And Gordy Vanderveer was not able to take advantage of a big opportunity that he had in that last rack. And see if Brandon can get back on track. Nice break. And I'm not sure if he's got a pocket for this 1 ball. It looks from this angle like he's got a small path to get that 1 ball past the 2. The main problem seems to be is where is he going to have his cue ball going after he contacts that 1 ball. And if he can go down to that top rail and come back up, just like that, he'll be okay. And I don't think he has a pocket for that 3 ball. So there's a good opportunity that if he does pocket this 2, that he's going to try to devise a safety or try to find some way right now after pocketing the 2 to go up and break the 3 up from that 7 ball. And he just narrowly missed it, and into the drink goes the cue ball. And what's really, really difficult for Gordy right now is, even though he's got ball in hand, he's probably going to be forced to shoot a safety by hiding the cue ball behind the 7 ball. I don't believe he really has a clear shot to pocket this 3 ball. And he's being forced every time he comes to the table to be in either reactionary mode or defensive mode. And he decided to go behind that 8 ball, and I don't agree with that. See, because he's kind of left that 3 ball what I call out in space. And I'm not sure if Brandon has enough room between the 8 ball and the rail to get that cue ball through there, or to contact that 3. But what he does have is he has an option right here, if he wants to tie up some of the other balls. But it looks like he has a little gap in between the 8 and the rail. And if he can do that, he just has to watch out for the scratch. Speed is essential here. And he kind of double hit that. But he didn't leave Gordy a gimme shot either. Even if he can slice this cue ball into the 3 to pocket it up in one of those corner pockets, looks like that left top corner pocket, he's going to have his cue ball going towards that other side pocket on the right hand side of the table. And he did a good job there, missing the 8 and missing the 5. So Gordy has an excellent opportunity to run this rack out and finally get on the scoreboard. All he has to do is just stay in line, not get caught behind anything, and just play smart position. We go ahead and pocket the 5 and just go ahead and keep an angle on this 7 ball. And the momentum has definitely switched out of Brandon Shuff's favor and back to Gordy Vanderveer. And, you know, just because the momentum has shifted to Gordy's side doesn't mean that he's going to win every single game now. He's going to have to take advantage of those opportunities. You know, it's one thing to have the momentum switch and not being able to pocket the 9 ball. And there, look, he almost got his cue ball back in trouble again. So he's going to have to do something to loosen up that left arm. But finally, we have Gordy Vanderveer on the board, down 1-5 against Brandon Shuff. So we're in rack number 7. Brandon Shuff leads Gordy Vanderveer 5-1. And we're going to get a chance to see Gordy break the balls here. Now it's interesting to note, he racked the balls, he had his glasses on, and he went ahead and took them off before breaking here. Now he's got a very nice break from this side of the table. He did a very good job of contacting that rack. He made a couple of balls. He's got a makeable shot on this 2 ball, but it's one of those shots where he's going to have to control his cue ball to stay on that 3. And he might elect to bump into it here, or, you know, he could just decide to play safe and hide the cue ball behind the 5 and the 9. But he needs to get aggressive here. He's got to take advantage of the momentum shift. The momentum of this match switched 2 games ago after Brandon Shuff broke and had his cue ball on top of the 8 ball. From that moment, the momentum switched into Gordy Vanderveer's favor, and he's only been able to squeeze 1 game out of that. So Brandon, you know, really has to bear down to get back into this match. And he's lucky he didn't scratch there. He came up underneath that 2, but he's going to get away with that. That 2 ball just kind of hit itself behind the 8 ball. Leaving Gordy a makeable kick shot. It's kind of hard for him to get to. He's a lefty, so he's going to be stretched over the table a little bit. Let's go ahead and kick 1 rail. He actually got some action on that 9 ball with that shot. Once again, leaving Brandon a 1 rail kick. And I think the difference between the safety play between Brandon Shuff and Gordy Vanderveer is the fact that when Brandon is leaving Gordy safe, he's making him kick 1 or 2 rails. Brandon is not leaving an object ball near the pocket. And Gordy, in most of the safety shots that he's tried to lock Brandon up, he's left very makeable kick shots. And when you're playing a player with the skill of Brandon Shuff, with his kicking ability, he can kick out of the worst of situations and not only make contact with the object ball. There's a good 70% chance that whatever he's kicking at is going to have a really, really good opportunity to drop into the pocket. He's just not kicking at a ball to hit it. He's either going to try to hit it and play safe or hit that object ball and make it in the pocket. So if you're going to lock Brandon Shuff up, you're going to have to take away the 1 rail kicks. See, these here are not puzzling Brandon. What he's looking at here is a way to come off of that rail and perhaps ride the 9. And if he's able to do that, a shot